In a quiet fishing village near the ocean, there once lived a man whose life changed overnight. One day he was poor. The next day, he was richer than everyone around him. But then he disappeared without a trace, and the only thing left behind was a black box. Before the money came, before the mansion, before the fear, he was just a fisherman trying to survive. Every morning before sunrise, he carried his old fishing net into the sea, hoping the ocean would finally show him mercy. But most days, it didn't. Some mornings he returned with only a few tiny fish. Other mornings, nothing at all. The villagers pitied him. Some laughed at him quietly. Others shook their heads whenever they saw him walking toward the shore with his torn fishing net hanging over his shoulder. But no matter how difficult life became, he never stopped trying. Every night he sat alone inside his small wooden hut, listening to the sound of the waves crashing against the shore, wondering if life would ever change for him. Then one evening, the sky changed. Dark clouds slowly swallowed the sunset. The wind became violent. The ocean grew angry. The villagers quickly rushed into their homes and locked their doors before the storm arrived. But the fisherman remained at sea, unaware that this storm would change his life forever. Rain poured heavily from the sky. Massive waves crashed against his small wooden boat. Lightning flashed across the darkness. The fisherman struggled to control the boat as the storm pushed him farther into the ocean. Then suddenly, he saw something floating in the water. At first, he thought it was a piece of broken wood, but as he moved closer, he realized it was an old man barely holding on to life. Without thinking twice, the fisherman pulled the stranger into his boat and fought against the storm until he finally reached the shore. The old man was weak, silent, strange. The fisherman brought him home and gave him dry clothes and food even, though he barely had enough for himself. The old man spoke very little throughout the night, but before sunrise, he suddenly stood up. Then he reached inside his robe and brought out a small black box. The box looked old, ancient, almost alive. The old man handed it to the fisherman slowly and whispered, "This box will change your life." Then his expression changed. His eyes became serious, and he added, "But never open it after midnight." Before the fisherman could ask another question, the old man walked out into the darkness and disappeared. The next morning, everything changed. For the first time in years, the fisherman caught more fish than he had ever seen before. His boat overflowed with fish. The villagers stared in shock as he returned to shore. Then something even stranger happened. Wealthy traders suddenly arrived at the village, looking specifically for fish. And somehow, they all chose him. Within days, money started pouring into his life. Weeks later, the poor fisherman, who once struggled to survive, now owned the biggest house in the village. He bought expensive clothes. Servants followed him everywhere. People who once ignored him suddenly treated him with respect. Some even feared him. The villagers could not understand how a poor fisherman became richer than the village chief almost overnight. Rumors began spreading across the village. Some believed he had discovered hidden treasure. Others believed dark spirits were helping him, but nobody truly knew the secret. except the fisherman. Every night before sleeping, he stared at the black box resting quietly inside his room. And every night, the box glowed a little brighter. At first, he ignored it, but slowly, the wealth began changing him. The fisherman who once shared food with hungry children became cold and arrogant. He stopped helping people. He stopped smiling. The same villagers who once pitied him now whispered behind his back. But he no longer cared. Money had completely changed his heart. Yet despite all his wealth, peace slowly disappeared from his life. He barely slept. Every night he heard strange whispers inside the mansion. Sometimes he woke up suddenly feeling like someone was watching him from the darkness. And every single night, the black box continued glowing brighter. Soon the rumors grew darker. Some villagers claimed strange shadows moved around the mansion at night. Others claimed they heard voices coming from inside the fisherman's house long after midnight. The village chief himself became suspicious, but nobody dared confront the fisherman directly. Then came the night everything ended. Heavy rain fell outside the mansion. Thunder shook the sky. The fisherman sat alone inside his room, staring at the black box. The glow was stronger than ever before, almost calling to him. The old man's warning echoed inside his mind. Never open it after midnight. But curiosity slowly became stronger than fear. A clock ticked closer. The storm outside became louder. Then finally, midnight arrived. The fisherman stood up slowly. His hands trembled as he walked toward the box. Fear filled the room, but greed had already filled his heart. Slowly, he touched the box. The glow intensified instantly. The room became unnaturally cold. But still, he continued. Then finally, he opened it. Suddenly, the entire mansion shook violently. A terrifying dark shadow exploded out of the box like smoke escaping from fire. The candles died instantly. The room became completely dark. The fisherman screamed in fear as the shadow surrounded him. The storm outside grew louder. The walls trembled. And then, silence. The next morning, the villagers noticed something strange. The mansion doors were wide open. No servants, no guards, no movement. Carefully, the villagers entered the mansion. But inside, everything was gone. The money had disappeared. The expensive furniture had vanished. Even the gold was gone. And the fisherman himself was nowhere to be found. The only thing left behind was the black box sitting quietly in the middle of the empty room. No one touched it. No one moved closer. And before sunset that same day, the village chief ordered the mansion abandoned forever. Years later, people still speak about the fisherman who became rich overnight and disappeared without a trace. Some believe the box carried a curse. Others believe the fisherman paid the price for his greed. But nobody truly knows what happened inside that mansion on the night he opened the box. And maybe some mysteries are never meant to be understood, because sometimes the things we desire most destroy us in the end.